So, mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. You might see behind me, there's a thing called Kwaito. Now, you most probably all know what Kwaito is, right? Not really, eh? Well, I can tell you, Kwaito is not an area somewhere in New York. Kwaito is it's not a karate style from the Far East. Kwaito is not some bullfighting from Spain. But Kwaito is a music genre, the most popular music genre in Southern Africa. Now, it sounds quite exotic, and I would like to tell you the story of Kwaito. Kwaito originated in the late 80s in Soweto. That was a township, the biggest township, that one. A township of Johannesburg, southwestern township. Unfortunately, in those days, there was still apartheid in South Africa. Apartheid was an era where black and white Africans were separated by the government. Now, this was a very difficult time, and there was a lot of uprising in those times. And we in Africa, we never had our own music genre. So all the music genres, like house music from Europe, hip-hop music from America, reggae music from Jamaica, was all imported to Southern Africa, to Africa. So all the old vinyls, we didn't have any music players. So the thing was, we only had the old vinyl players, the LPs. And we got all the old singles that didn't really sell in Europe, we got them to Africa. So ship all the old keyboards, everything you don't need, just ship that to Africa. Now, we didn't have a music industry in Africa those days. So we had to create our own type of music. And all those small vinyls we put on our big vinyl players, and obviously they have to be played a bit quicker. So the house music coming from Germany, from somewhere in Europe, which was 130 BPM, like this, it only played on our old players, only played like, so a bit slower actually. And this is how Kwaito music was created. Kwaito music was a way of uniting the people on the streets so that they can have a sort of a unity against the apartheid system. So it's a music that really got the people dancing on the streets, because the whole lifestyle, everything was just on the streets. We lived on the streets. This is how we used to dress back in the days. It's not like that anymore. We have changed a bit, but this is the Kwaito style. You can see the unity, all putting their feet together like this. The unity is what was needed back in the days to fight the apartheid system. Now, you might wonder, what is this white boy talking about Kwaito music? What does he know about Kwaito music? Well, to tell you the story, I am a Mapantsula. It's a Kwaito group in Southern Africa. We like to play our stuff. Hey! Okay. We have this hat because we have a lot of sun in Africa. So this is the Kwaito hat. And I was born in Namibia. Namibia is southwestern Africa, or how they used to call it, the Germans back in the day, Deutsch Südwestafrika. Now, Namibia is a very beautiful country. You have over 50% of desert. And in 1884, the Germans colonized Namibia. So that is where my background comes from. My great ancestors traveled to Africa in the hope to see a lot of palm trees, beautiful women, all that stuff. Well, this wasn't the case, because Namibia looks more like this. And but today I know it's one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Unfortunately, well, that's how history goes. In 1915, just beginning of World War II, South Africa took over Namibia as a fifth province. And the apartheid system was introduced also in Namibia. These were signs that were hung up everywhere in parks people may not use. The different cultures were divided. And this wasn't a really great time. But we learned from history. And in 1990, Namibia got its independence from South Africa. And this is our beautiful flag, as you can see on my shoes as well. So I'm really proud to have an independent Namibia. That's why I can stand here today and tell you about Kwaito music. Now, this is how I grew up. I grew up in the bush. We had a lot of farms where I go on the weekends. We had our Jengalapi, how we say, we had them on. Kapuchi are the shoes. Then we would go in the bush and build our huts and shoot animals, not big ones, small ones, and make fires and so on. So I grew up very, very traditional and very close to the indigenous people. And also spoke the language. Also spoke the language a bit, Afrikaans, a little bit of Oshivambo, Herero. Growing up was very diverse. I had a lot of black friends, I had a lot of white friends. So there was this apartheid system which was introduced back in the days, was fading out. In 1990, I went to school. That's when Namibia got independence. And I thought, okay, Namibia is getting the independence, so no more school. But that wasn't the case. So the first class in 1990 were black and white and colored were in one class. That was the year I got to school. And I think also for me going to a government school, I got in touch with Kwaito music, which was back in the days only a black-orientated music. So you wouldn't get white Africans to listen to Kwaito music. It was more rock. What else? I don't know. Techno. So, and I was very interested in Kwaito music, and because I'm born in Africa, it was somewhat in me. Because the Africans, the black Africans say white men can't dance. So this was never the case for me. So I had it in my rhythm, I had it in my blood. You might also find me talking a lot about black and white. In Africa, we handle racism, I think, a bit different than in other countries. We talk about it. So I have my black friend and I will say a joke about him and he will respond in his other way. So I think the best way to handle racism, especially if you had a lot of apartheid system back in the days, is to talk open about it, never behind closed doors. Anyways, here you will see me starting off my music career straight after school. I didn't really know what to do, and then I told my father, listen, I'm going to be a big star one day. And he said, no, you better get a real job. What I did was I did a lot of music with other Kwaito artists. Now, in the beginning, people were thinking, what is this guy trying to play? Someone like me, who's never been in that type of music genre, come and do the music. They were very skeptical about it. But after some time, they see that the music I do is what I do. I'm not faking anything. I love Kwaito. Why can I not do Kwaito? So I started a group called the Nam Flavor Crew. Yeah, you can see the old tires there. This is how we roll in Africa. This is the Kwaito style. We have our hats, we have our short pants, and you can see it's very colorful. We love color in Africa. Here, this is the hand sign we created, because Namibia, if I just go back a bit, this looks like Namibia. So we created something. We created a hand sign which is proudly local, because Namibia, who never had their own music industry, our music was always influenced by the outside. So we created something very our own and called it Nam Flavor. And so as you can see, the unity within black and white and all the different cultures, we have over 13 different main cultures and tribes in Namibia, we all became one under the Namibian flag. And that was very important to me, because how can you unite a rainbow nation when you don't sometimes speak the same language, and so on and so on. Not only did we unite different cultures, but we did something with our music, with the Kwaito music, which the government was trying to do for so long, to unite the people. And we didn't even know about this. We just made music together. So when we had a concert, we suddenly had a large group of white people, of colored people, of black people, and we all united under music. And this is, you cannot imagine this feeling, especially coming from a country which had a lot of dividing up and back in the days. As you can see, this is a picture of one of my shows where we just happy to be one Namibia. And then obviously unite under the Nam flag. Then time went by, and I decided to make my music full time. Nowadays in the music industry, it's very hard to go by and live just by music, especially because the sales are going down. But in 2012, I received the biggest Kwaito Award in Africa as the first white Kwaito artist. That again sounds very weird, but it is like that. We talk about it very openly. But it's also said that till this time I'm still the only white African doing Kwaito music. So I hope people watching out there just do whatever music you feel doing. Don't be afraid or let people stop you just saying you may not do this type of music. Then came the time where I was very successful in Namibia and I wanted to take the music out because Kwaito music is very positive, very energetic, and it would be ignorant just to keep it for ourselves in Namibia. So my first trip to Germany, you might think it's normal, but it wasn't, because I speak the German language. I learned it in kindergarten in Africa. It's a bit different than what the people speak in Germany, but my first experience was I came to Germany and I have never driven a train before. So now I'm at this U-Bahn station and I'm just seeing a lot of colorful lines and I didn't know where to go. So I asked the old lady next to me and said, excuse me, could you please tell me where to go from here to here, because I've never driven a train like this before. She looks at me, I'm 20 years old. It's like, ja, diese Jugend, nur verarschen. So, and then I said, nein, I'm really honest, I'm an African. And then she flipped out. Yeah. Yeah. There are a couple more stories like that. I don't know how my timing is. I'd love to put one more in. So after I'd driven my train, everything was fine. I was walking on my way home. My first few weeks, I was just sleeping on the floor there on my 3 blankets. And as I was walking home, I see a TV on the street. Now, when you see a TV on the street in Africa, you know a robbery just happened. So I was looking and like, okay, what's going on here? Now I was standing and checking, but nothing happened. And people were just walking by the TV and I'm like, what? So anyways, I went there. I was like, this is a nice TV. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can take it along. I don't want to steal because, just because I'm African doesn't mean I always steal. And then, so I took it home, put it in my room there. Me and my friend, we like so happy. We write an SMS back to Africa. You can't believe we found a TV on the street. That's what they call Schlaraffenland. When we put the TV into the electric cord, we saw it wasn't working anymore. But we still had it in our room and it was very, very nice. So my dream is to take Kwaito music, a music that is very energetic, very positive, very outgoing, bring that to the world. Now this, 10 years back, would not have been possible because the music industry in Germany and in the first world countries is how you say, controlled by major labels. There are 5 major labels and they pretty much control all the music that is being played on radio, played on television and so on. So my problem was how to get Kwaito to the people. That was still a mission. But the thing is, I would not be standing here today if it wasn't for internet. Because I could be at home, we have 340 days of sun, we have the best meat, I could be grilling there, enjoying life. But the thing is, I believe in the positiveness of the music that Kwaito has, very colorful, very outgoing, that we can make it internationally. Now, I always say, be careful what music you listen to. Because music is vibrations. Now these vibrations interact with the body, with your atoms in your body. So if you listen to a sad song, pretty much you will feel sad after a sad song. If you listen to a happy song, you will feel happy. Now it's very sad to see that first world country is pretty much controlled what music they listen to when you put on your radio. Now the chance of the internet made it possible for me to even come here today and speak to you, because the internet has no control, no real control and boundaries. So my music videos on YouTube can be viewed by anybody. Streaming has become so much better that I have started an online community called the Megaphone Gazis. So with the online community, people can connect from wherever in the world and make new plans how to approach and get a music like Kwaito music and get it out to the people. So we approach radio stations by combining power and approaching them saying, listen, we know that your music has been programmed by big labels for so many years, but please play our song. And we've been very successful with that. The thing is, what is very sad for me is people don't know the power they have nowadays with the internet to spread music. So I feel it's very important with something like music we listen to every day should not be controlled. You should want to listen to whatever music you feel at any time. This 10 years would never been possible. Oh, there's so much to talk about music, so if you only knew. Yeah, because otherwise I'll just go on and on, and because we Africans, we like to talk a lot. Our interviews in Africa, I still remember my first interview in Germany. They sat me down and said, "Are you ready?" I'm like, "I was born ready. Let's do this." Okay, we have 2.5 minutes to talk. Okay, so that's the introduction. No, that's the whole interview. In Africa, when we go to a radio station, it's like, hola kunchan, come in, my friend. We stop the news. We don't need news. Who needs news? Come in here. We do a talk. So usually those talks last up to maybe sometimes 1.5 hours interview. The thing is nowadays, I feel like the music industry is changing very quickly, and the big labels are complaining about this because music sales are going down. They have difficulty to get their message across, and this is just because of the internet. Nowadays you can choose what you want to listen to. Back in the days, I feel it was 90% business and 10% talent. Now we can change that through the internet. I would wish to see more real music being out there instead of music which is controlled by labels telling you, you will have to wear a pink t-shirt and you're going to sing this song and you're going to dance like this. So that's why I would urge you to please support independent artists. If you see artists that have no record deal, and just support them in a way that you can. If it's possible to unite a country with 13 different languages and tribes under one Namibian flag, then I know it's also possible to take Kwaito music international. Another saying we have in my country is that in Europe they have very beautiful watches, but in Africa we have lots of time. So I know one day we will make it. Thank you very much for listening. Thanks.